Welcome back to the Joystick Show. We're your three favorite friends from Hawaii, here to talk story about comic news, pop culture, and video games. If this is your first time, mahalo for spending some time with us. I'm your co-host Drake. That's Thomas.
What up, what up?
That's Scott.
How's it?
And we want to welcome back to the pod the one and only Jasmine. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me back.
Yeah. Well, this is our Happy New Year podcast, and we've got a special surprise. Well, I guess it's not a surprise because we're going to show you. I guess it is a surprise because you don't really know, but we got something special for y'all. From us.
We realize a lot of shit.
I feel like it's a surprise now because I don't know what he's referring to.
Yeah.
Just keep us on edge.
We're always surprised that we know what's coming, so it's always a surprise.
It's always a surprise. So why don't we just pull it out so we can get everybody used to it before it gets
for that surprise.
too crazy.
Wow. Heyo.
Heyo. Don't tell us.
Sweet. So let's kick it off. We got some visuals. Jesus. All right. Let's pretend we've done this before. All right. We got some awesome visuals that Jazz created, and right now. Let's see. Let's pull it up on screen, please. Cobes. Dude, Cobes is back with us. He's our guy in the chair. So shout out to Cobes. We miss you, buddy. Happy that you're here with us. And let's do this, though. So we got, on screen, we got agenda. We have New Year's resolutions. We have 2022 wrap-up. And we have traditions. What does it say? Near and far.
Near and far.
So let's see. What can we start? Can we start with? I don't have any resolution. I got to think about that. Should we start with traditions? Because I feel like that's an easy one. Just saying, hey, what do we normally do on New Year's Eve, and New Year's Day, for that matter?
All right, let's get.
Those are just kind of the topics that I think of when it comes to like New Year's. So if there's anything that pops out to you, then go for it.
Man, there's a lot of popping out jokes. But let's just stay on topic. Let's see, So traditions. New Year's is always kind of different. I feel like I've been pretty fortunate to be in multiple different places for New Year's. This year we are going to be in LA, but I've done Hawaii. Hawaii is always awesome because people get so nuts with the fireworks. It's like such a big time, and the food is always so bomb. I feel like, it's like you get the chicken karaage, the sashimi, the chili, I don't know. It's just like a mixture of all this super bomb food. So I like that. Plus the fireworks is always crazy. I don't know. Are you guys big on fireworks along with traditions that you have?
Yes. I mean, I think the most memorable thing about Hawaii in general is like once it hits 12 a.m., right, or 12 midnight, and then every single house that, has the availability has like a 200, 500,000 firecracker situation, and it all goes off at the same time, and they just unload all of the illegal aerials at one point in time. Obviously, this is pre all of these lame laws that allow us to be safer, but that's what I remember the most about it. All the smoke, all of the...
Drake hates laws.
Yeah, I hate laws. Communication.
Lawless Drake.
And trees,
And trees.
Trees. Call back to last episode.
Yeah.
And I just wanted, to be honest, I miss that the most, the camaraderie, right? The hanging out with your family and then all that jazz. But those are the fireworks, yes, to answer your question.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that with the laws and the restrictions and whatnot. I feel like it has barely slowed down Hawaii. Like, people who are going to pop fireworks always find a way. And people who don't buy, like, the big aerials like myself, get to benefit from it. I live in town now. And like you said, at 12 midnight, I can just go outside my door and, like, just see all the fireworks going off. And it's pretty cool. I am grateful that my neighbors spend thousands of dollars, buying these things that are beautiful so I can see them for freezies. But other than fireworks, food is always great. Every year, our family, like now my mom does it. She makes some mandu soup for our like Korean background.
Nice. I thought you were going to say every year my mom does it. I was like, does fireworks? I was like, no. That was crazy.
She's buying. Don't call the cops.
Yeah. No
she makes mandu soup. Yeah. But I think this year at work, unfortunately, like some weird shifts. So I'm gonna have to hope she like freezes some for me so I can get it later. But what about you, Jazz? Can you think of anything like?
Well, like going back to what Drake was saying about like how the rules have kind of changed. I think back when we were kids and we used to do like those flowers or like the red devils and stuff.
Yeah.
And like now I think back and like if I had a kid, I don't think I would let them do that. I'm like, oh my gosh, we would like hold it until it was just like about to go and then like
And then
throw it up in the air
Yeah.
because you want it to go in the air. And I was like, oh my gosh, like what were we thinking?
Yeah.
Obviously, like that was like not the way our mom wanted us to do that.
Yeah, as somebody who has a metal hand, I don't second that either.
No, yeah, don't condone that. Don't. No, like now I'm like, hell no. Um, Obviously it is nice to see the fireworks, something that I did last year because we kind of stayed in. I was watching like all of the firework displays from like around the world, so you can kind of see videos online. And it was just kind of nice to see like how different people are like celebrating it. And it was just like a nice way to celebrate it like throughout the day because obviously we're like way far behind everybody.
I'm just thinking it flashes to like people around the world and then Drake kicking a tree for a second.
Yeah,
and back to
exactly.
fireworks.
And I was like, no, memories. Yeah. No, it was a really nice way to do that. So yeah, if I don't get a chance to go out and see it in person, I think I'll just repeat that this year. So
Nice, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a cool thing about like YouTubes and everything now, right? Like
Yeah.
you can like just jump on and see what else the world is doing. Like
Yeah.
live mostly too. So that's cool.
Have any of you seen like a New Year's drone show by chance?
I have.
Whoa.
It's really cool.
Tell us about it.
Mm.
What's the
Yes.
appeal?
Well, I mean, the whole thing with drones, right, is it can get like all the way up
Mm.
in the in the space of fireworks. So you're kind of seeing it like from a different perspective. I don't know. I just thought it was really cool. It is something different. And then some of the people who will edit it will put like music to it or,
Sick.
will cuts to like the people's perspective too, so you can kind of see. But yeah, it's really nice. It's
Oh, wait,
pretty
dude.
awesome.
I think I've seen that too, and that's cool. But Drake, are you referring to like when they have like hundreds of drones
Like,
up in there
yeah,
and they do
they're
different formations?
coordinated.
Oh, that.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
I've
yeah.
And
never
they can
seen
make like
that.
crazy shapes, like smiley faces and spaceships, and
No, I've never seen that.
yeah,
That's
that's
really cool.
that's like a new thing they're doing. They did it in San Diego for 4th of
Mhm.
July. Instead of like full fireworks, you could go see like a drone show, and it
Huh.
looked insane. Yeah, it was really cool.
I
I'm
wonder if
for that.
I wonder if Disney has jumped on that yet, or like
It's like, wasn't
I could
that one of the
definitely see them
Spider-Man
start doing
movies? The drones that attacks.
that. Yeah, Mysterio.
Yeah. That's what it just made me
Disney's gotta
think
hire
of.
Yeah, that's the
Mysterio.
horror version of the drone show. But
Yeah.
Oh, when you said that, I was like, that's the only thing I can like reference.
yeah.
Again, the midnight hits, and then you're like in some like weird world, like just illusions all around you,
Yeah.
trying to kill you.
The elementals are destroying London Bridge. You're
Yeah.
like, no.
Hey, you guys don't do that every New Year's?
Yeah, every New Year's London Bridge goes down.
Happy New Year!
Yeah, that's my tradition.
Yeah,
Shit.
exactly. But yeah, let's see. What else do we got? What's the next thing? Unless you guys can think of any other traditions while we check out the next.
Oh, so
topic.
do you guys drink champagne? Is that a thing for you guys, like for New Year's or?
I like to drink champagne. That's
Also-
We
yeah.
call that Friday night.
Hey.
Hey,
Drink
some-
champagne right now.
Yeah, exactly. No,
There was a question posed to me: champagne or the Martinelli cider?
I know where you're gonna be. Freaking baby
Both?
bladder.
Dude, what?
I was just kidding.
I felt like there was a better way to segment that. in.
I'm sorry.
You
it was
just
just
went
there.
hard, bro.
It was
Yeah.
just there. I'm sorry.
He has a genetic disorder where his bladder is the size of a baby's.
Yeah.
So
None of this is true, but
All this is true. Every single word of
that's
it is true.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Hold on, I gotta pee.
No,
Wait,
I
but, like, any of
Martinellis,
those-
though, for sure.
that's so funny,
I do
though.
like the Martinellis though. It is good. It is like one of the best apple ciders. I like to pretend it's for the kids, but I always get a glass for
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah, I always end up drinking all of it for them.
Yeah. I definitely
losers.
join in, but yeah, are you guys big champagne drinkers on New Year's?
I like it. I think it's nice. I think last year I did like a glass of scotch though.
Damn.
It's like because I didn't have
Scotch champagne?
champagne, so I was like, okay.
Let's just get burlier.
Yeah, why not?
You sound like a
Mustache
lass
and
that's been
everything.
to Scotland.
Well,
Yeah, a couple times.
I went the opposite. I just
Nice.
had apple juice. I didn't have cider, so
You say apple juice or
weaker.
apple juice?
I ate an apple.
Yeah.
What about you,
And
Drake?
it's there. Yeah.
I like in terms of beverages, I'm pretty sure whatever's nothing in specific in
water.
terms of champagne, but yes, I do drink water. Sometimes I'll treat myself to a soda because I don't typically drink soda. My go-to soda would probably be like a ginger ale, a nice like Verner's or like a Canada Dry. I was gonna say Canadian Dry.
Canadian Dry.
Yeah, Canadian Dry. Yo, an A&W root beer every now and then just really
Oh my
hits the
God.
spot, dude.
Love
They're
it.
bomb.
Yeah.
You know what I learned too, real quick? Like when I was doing keto for a bit, A&W zero sugar tastes just like regular A&W. Like they've done it right. So if you're ever trying to get a zero sugar soda, that A&W is bomb.
Dr. Pepper too. I think the Dr. Pepper Zero is super
yeah,
fire.
DP.
Oh,
Yeah.
that one's really
Good
good
to
too.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sweet. All right. So I don't think all of us drink champagne. We're across the board there, which is nice because
If Jasmine brings it, I'll drink it.
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He'll just drink other people's drinks.
Yeah,
he
that's
does.
how I roll. And then I use the restroom.
Yeah,
'Cause
use other people's toilets.
Yeah,
Papa's gotta
instantly.
go.
Instantly. Yeah.
I take it with me to the bed.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's currently looking for a donor bladder, but if you're
Yeah.
For Scott for Christmas, I'm gonna get him a champagne glass with a rubber nipple on it. No, I'm just
For
kidding.
the listeners, all these jokes stem from me going, let me use the bathroom real quick before
Every
we
single
start
time
a
before
long
we
podcast.
He's trying to be
Before
show
we start
ready.
a long podcast.
Yeah.
It's better to go before.
Which we do this
Then, like,
at
in
the
the
same
middle.
time every week. Yeah.
every week.
It's a
Yep.
surprise. It's always a surprise. All right, let's see. What's the next topic? So we have
Yeah, Scott, you don't get to
traditions.
say anything else.
We
yeah,
have
take it easy, guys.
Hey, we gotta,
You're like, yeah, Scott, you suck. What else we got
we
here?
gotta move on. We gotta move
Oh,
on.
we got Scott sucks, and I think we discussed that, but we could go even further if we wanted to.
We would love to keep going further, but we don't got time for that. Let's go to
So much to say.
New Year's resolutions. all right.
Shit.
And
All
then
right.
we will get back into our regular scheduled program. We're going to do our top movie, shows, games, books of the year. But for now, we're going to start with New Year's resolutions. And right now on screen, we've got 3 rows of 3 different categories. It looks like Joker, Gandalf, Professor X, Wednesday Addams, Steve from Stranger Things. What's the next one? I'm a little far away. Kang, I guess Kang the Conqueror, Voldemort, Luigi, and Peter Griffin. So how does this game work, Jazz?
It's what do you think their New Year's resolutions would be?
Oh,
If you if you had to
like
think that theirs, and then it would ask, yeah, what's your New Year's resolution? If you do that sort of thing, but yeah,
Dang,
put
okay.
yourself in their shoes.
Let's start with the Joker,
Okay.
because that he's never gonna kill Batman. He's always gonna torture him, and his whole thing is just chaos. So what's somebody who wants to just create chaos? What would they want to do to start off the year right?
Probably like a
feel
vision
like it's a-
board.
Yeah.
Okay, what's on the vision board?
Bombs.
Bombs.
Just bombs. Like the actual bombs, though. It's
Yeah.
like-
He's taped them to there.
yeah.
Like, don't knock
Taped.
this over because it
It's
will blow up.
taped.
Yeah.
Right.
Because he's crazy like that.
Probably a map or something.
Probably the
Yeah.
plan for next year's big thing. I feel like he's one that's like wants to do it big.
Yeah.
Probably with bombs. And then he's like, I gotta go bigger next year.
Like he's planning like Batman's birthday or something. You know? But like,
Ooh. I
Right.
can see that. No, actually, I think
Right.
that's a great one. Like he's definitely planning Batman's birthday, but with bombs. That was
Yeah.
a lot of alliteration, but yeah, I could see that happening. Definitely. Yeah. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Any other ideas?
He'll disguise himself as Luke Skywalker, and then he's visiting Batman for the first time, and then he whips out his lightsaber with the bomb attached to it, and then
he's gonna look
Dunzo.
just like Mark Hamill.
Yeah, just like Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the Joker.
So bombs.
So
bombs.
A lot
So
of
bombs.
bombs.
On Batman's
All right.
birthday.
Yeah. Thought we would be a little bit more clever there, but you know what? It's all good. All right, moving on to Gandalf. I mean, let's not just talk about his staff and wand.
Magic bombs.
What does Gandalf want to do? Magic bombs. Yeah, exactly.
He's probably gonna learn how to let more people pass. I know he's been pretty strict about it in the past, but
You might let more Balrogs in the club.
What is like the remember in school like those crossing guard?
oh yeah.
Like
Oh yeah.
there was like
He's
the
like-
kids that could sign up for it too. Like
He's so funny. He's like teaching JPO.
yeah, JPO, that's it.
Oh fuck.
That's his New Year's resolution.
Yeah,
He's
he's
like,
giving
"Bye,
back to the
like, you should not
community.
pass."
Yeah.
You should not pass.
Right on. All right.
That's right.
Professor X, what does he do?
I think he's gonna want to start
Leg
his
day.
gym membership. Yeah.
Oh my
Sorry. Jeez, I'm sorry.
Damn. It was
I'm
right
sorry,
there.
dude.
Oh fuck! I mean, you're not
No.
wrong.
No, you're not wrong.
Oh shit.
I think that sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry.
All right, moving on.
We can't top that. Wednesday. What does Wednesday try to do this year? Does she try to figure out things that she needs to do for Nevermore? Does she try to make more friends? Does
I feel like she's
Oh.
trying to like get a better like she's trying to be more in touch with her emotions, right?
okay, yeah.
Like she seems always like almost not jealous, but you know, that's something that she's like found out about herself that she's not really in touch with that.
Mhm.
So maybe that's something she would work on.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that would be definitely a good one, especially when you watch how this last season ends up. You're like, yeah. She kind of is embracing it a little bit more.
Yeah.
So
She won't go to therapy, but she'll
I mean, she already has, right? And
yeah, it didn't really work
didn't
for her.
really do
So.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. I like that. Anybody else got any good ones? Otherwise, we're moving on to Steve.
Get a
from
bullet journal. Maybe that's what it is. She's gonna get into like bullet journaling.
Oh yeah, that's a thing. She'd
Ooh.
probably be really good at it.
Wait,
bullet
like with
journaling.
bullets?
Yeah, how does that work?
Just know like
It's-
the notebooks, and then people like will write their own things for like their journals.
But they'll like if you Google it, like they'll design things like it's pretty impressive
It
actually.
like becomes like your calendar. It becomes like they even put like their shopping list in there. It's like everything's all in this one journal, but they create everything in it.
Yeah, they'll hand draw everything.
Damn.
Yeah.
I think I need that.
Like, really
'cause
Let me
I
popular
Google that.
now.
everything. Yeah, that sounds actually like useful. Like, yeah, it went
Yeah.
went from like all jokes aside to like, wait, what is this again? I need to take
You're like, wait,
notes.
that's gonna be my New Year's.
Yeah, I was like,
resolution.
exactly. I was like, I need to actually.
Is this gonna be
get
my
that.
thing?
Yeah, I
Like
think
bullet,
so.
like bullet?
Yeah, like
Yeah, like
bullet
yeah,
points,
bullet
right?
because it's like bullet points.
Mhm.
Yeah.
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 But
Oh.
yeah, there's different notebooks. Usually they like either the blank ones or the what is it? Like usually like graph paper, like the dots, right? So that way they can make like their own lines and everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
We know someone that does it, and like I was really impressed when they were like writing in it. And I'm like, wow, this looks like really nice. You know, like when you come across someone with really nice handwriting, and you're like, wow, I gotta say something about it. Like you have really nice handwriting. You know, like those kind of things.
But wait,
But
Yeah, I know.
but
Do you...
wait, I gotta pee. No, but the whole but the whole thing is that like there's drawings. There's like they're bracketing out like headlines and everything, and they
Yeah.
draw everything. And I'm like, wow, this is
they
like
kind of
use
do like
different
calligraphy
colors.
and stuff too.
Yeah,
so.
it's pretty cool in its own way. It's like art in its own way. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
So we're all gonna do that probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Yeah, thanks, Wednesday.
She inspired us. All right, Steve from Stranger Things. What would he want to redo in the next year, or do
His
better?
hairstyle?
That's
Hairstyle.
untouchable. I don't think he needs to touch a thing there. That hair is
Yeah.
damn
I
perfect.
guess.
It's something maybe like, does he wear better shirts so that they don't get ripped off when he goes in the upside down world?
Because that
Yeah.
always happens.
Yeah. I don't know. That's where my mind's going. Maybe he learns how to make a Molotov cocktail. I don't know. Because it felt like Nancy was saving his ass a lot this last season.
Yeah.
Nancy was saving everybody's ass.
That's
He's
true.
probably gonna invest in jits.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, he's got to do that or take some like Krav Maga or something. Or
You say,
say Krav Maga. Is that what I said?
like Steve McGraw, like the singer?
Yeah, he's gonna learn some country.
Probably
after I said it, I'm like, what the fuck did I say? That's so funny.
That's his resolution.
Yeah, say names good.
Pee before we hit record.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's
that'll
number
never
one. We all
happen.
know
That's
that.
not
We all know
his-
that. But that's the thing about resolutions. They don't always. I mean, they rarely happen. So, but they're on the list. They always make the list.
Yeah, on the bullet journal.
Yeah,
There you go.
really true.
So Kang.
Yeah, well, it's like Are we talking King from the comics, right, or is it King from the movies? And it's like we've only gotten a little taste from the movies, right?
I know.
And so the guy who can literally go through all of time, be anywhere at any point of time, live almost 1,000 lives because of his manipulation of time. What could he possibly want? I mean, other than like beat the Avengers, who he somehow
wants
always
to,
gets thwarted by.
He wants
He's
to
got
wow the
bombs on,
viewers.
Wait,
Bombs. Yeah, bombs.
Yeah.
it always goes back to
I said-
bombs. Yeah.
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 I said he wants to wow the viewers. I'm
Yeah,
gonna take it as a super meta Kang,
Okay.
and he wants people to come and watch Marvel movies, and he wants to blow us away with the storyline.
With bombs. No, with the
With
bombs.
bombs.
Yeah.
Yeah, like literally blow us away.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I like that. That's a good one. Does he want to go like use this year to go back in time to get the Infinity Stones, or do you think it doesn't even matter to him?
Oh.
You see, okay, so that's like a really interesting topic, right? Because if they're like all powerful, then what is it exactly that they want, and why do they want that?
Right.
Great try. Yeah.
Because
Good
like,
question.
what do they get out of it if they already have everything?
So maybe it's like
Right.
Pokemon where they collect them all, you know, or
You think that's what it is? He's just collecting the Avengers. You know, it's like was it Smash when they get like the little
Trophies.
statues of them? Yeah,
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
trophies. He's got them up on a
Oh.
shelf afterwards. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, I
He's
don't
just
know.
a
It's like,
collector.
yeah. Maybe he is his own collector. Sure, why not?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Why is he trying to conquer? What drives him?
See, we need to know way more, right? I mean,
Yeah.
the
Because we
thing
know
is-
Thanos' thing, you know,
That's right. Yeah.
but like,
He's just like half.
he's a communist. Yeah.
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 He's a communist. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just showing that in the 50s.
He's like, you
but-
see this knife? Imagine everything like that, right?
Yeah.
It's like what?
Exactly.
That's how we do it.
Yeah. Kang will be an interesting one.
Yeah.
Undecided right now, but yeah, we will see what he's after truly in March. Let's see, Voldemort. Obviously, he wants the boy who lived. So
Yeah, he
That's a
tries
good-
every year, but he's not
Sounds
very
good, dude.
good at
Oh,
it.
Vada Kedavra. Maybe he wants a nose implant.
oh damn,
Yeah.
oh damn.
Do you think he knew that that was going to happen to him when he like, you know, started like splitting up his soul into like all those Horcruxes?
Horcrux.
Oh, crux. I don't think he
question.
did know, because maybe he would have like magicked a nose, you know?
Maybe he knew
It's
it.
another
Why
way.
didn't he magic a nose?
Yeah.
Yeah, great question.
Yeah, he can give like what is it? Wormtail another arm.
Yeah.
He can't give himself a nose.
Maybe it's like magicking your face, your own face is just tricky.
Yeah.
No matter which way you.
We'll have to
Yeah.
ask
You look at
Dumbledore.
it.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
he's
need a
dead.
good magic surgeon to make that work, you know. So yeah,
Yeah.
Um,
You think if he did like a polyjuice potion, like he would get a nose, like
Just
their
temporarily,
nose,
though.
or, like,
just
yeah.
temporary, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. All right, so Luigi.
So what
is
nose
Luigi?
or okay?
No,
Luigi
I'm saying
is,
nose. Yeah, I think nose. is the
Yeah,
best
yeah, we're
answer.
going with nose.
cool.
Luigi, what does Luigi ask for or try to do better next year?
He wants his own movie. Yeah.
Ooh, I like that.
Oh, yeah.
He wants that
That's
red
good.
shirt, bro.
Dude, if they did like the like Luigi's Mansion or something, that'd be
That'd be
pretty
cool.
That
You know,
would
and
be
that's what I'm
cool.
hoping. I hope like this movie does good, and they're able to branch off more into the like, Nintendo universe, because
Yeah.
they already have a Nintendo Land and Universal, right? So
Mhm.
Right.
I could definitely see them
Trying to
driving
build on
more
that.
into that. Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
cool.
Yep.
That could be tight.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I like that. His own movie, though, I thought was
Yeah.
that's fantastic.
Yeah, his
Peter
own movie, that's good.
Griffin. What
Peter
does
Griffin.
Peter want?
Peter.
It's a pretty good Lois.
What are you doing?
Thanks. He wants.
What does he want? What does the fat man want?
Oh, that's a pretty good Stewie. Nice.
Oh, thank you.
It took me a second, but yeah, not bad. What does
Brian.
Peter want? Does he
What
want
does
all like the Nantucket, whatever brew he could ever drink?
Oh yeah.
More
That's
shapoopy?
Yeah, to finally kick that chicken's ass, maybe.
That's what I was
Oh my
thinking.
god.
I was trying to remember who won last.
Oh yeah, that's a great.
Do they both
question.
lose equally? How does it end?
It,
Oh
like,
man.
yeah, never really. As far as I've watched, like, it never got to a point where like someone won and someone
Right.
Clearly won,
lost.
right?
Yeah.
Or maybe he wants to go up into space onto the Orville.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Oh,
Yeah,
A little Seth MacFarlane tie-in.
did it.
Nice.
did it.
Nice.
Did it.
There you go. To join the Orville. That's what our final answer is. I like it. Nicely done, guys. Yeah, New Year's resolutions. That was awesome. That was sweet.
Nice.
Have you guys ever done like a New Year's resolution that actually like stuck though?
Nope.
I don't know anybody who has done it successfully.
Nothing that's lasted longer than a month. I mean, everything.
Yeah, that's
is
usually
done by a
the
month.
thing.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Because your resolution is always so strict. Like, whatever it is, it's like to the most disciplined.
Yeah.
But
Right.
then sometimes you may do it throughout the year, but it's never as disciplined as you said it was going to be.
Yeah.
So that's probably,
Yeah.
I was like rewatching Friends, and it's was it Chandler's not allowed to make jokes about his friends, but he can't even like last like a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, is that the one where like Ross is wearing the tight pants? And he's like, look.
Yeah.
And they're like, what? What's so funny about the pants?
Right?
And he's like,
Yeah, like
"Oh."
the leather pants. Yeah.
Yeah, that was so good. That was one of the best episodes for sure. Oh, I love it. All right, let's see. What's next? Are we into the top movies and shows for each of
Yeah,
us?
that would be
I would say
that would be
yes.
next, our 2022 wrap up.
we are in it to win it.
There we go.
Okay.
Ooh.
What's up first?
So we got best movies of 2022.
Best movies. Scott, why don't you go first?
With
Nope.
the beat.
Nope. I'll go first. No, I'll go first.
I got a copy of Tom's list here. Let me go first.
No. No.
Yeah, see, yeah.
Exactly. You got a copy.
I mean, these are my ideas.
No, they are definitely copies of mine. Let's see. So movies. It was. I mean, it's funny. I think we talked about it. That it felt like shows this year for us were probably a little stronger than the movies were, right? And yeah, if you guys don't agree, that's fine. But for me, that's how it felt. So I would say my number 3 movie of the year was The Batman with Robert Pattinson.
Oh yes.
That the tone of the movie, the way it kind of revitalized Batman and did it in a kind of noir way that was truly unique and more of a detective spin. I really, really dug it. I thought Robert Pattinson did a fantastic job. He was a badass in that movie. Just how they spun the different villains in it too. Like it really feels like a really well-built world. So yeah, for me, number 3 was The Batman. Number 2 was Everything Everywhere All at Once. Michelle Yeoh was, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but she was so damn good in it. And it felt like in a world where Marvel was doing all these multiversal movies, somehow a movie about a mom who runs a washer and dryer business, that was the best multiversal thing that came out this year. Unless you count Spider-Man No Way Home, but that kind of came out before. So for me, it was definitely Everything Everywhere All at Once. Yeah, and just so emotional in so many different ways, but that had humor and awesome action. Who's the guy that plays Short Round from Indiana Jones? That guy was fantastic in
Oh
it.
yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Forget his name, but
Yeah. So Jamie Lee Curtis is in it. She was great, and just kind of showing the different ways your life could have gone and how it's just, if everything is important, is nothing important. And also, like, when it comes down to it, it's just the people and the way you make meaning in life that makes life worth living. I thought that was beautiful, and it just was like a perfect movie. So for me, that was number 2. And then
I think his name was Ke Hui Kwan.
Ke Huy Quan, that's
If I'm
right.
saying that right.
Yeah. He's going to be in Loki season 2 as well. And coming back for
Nice.
Indiana Jones. So, dude, he's having a big year. And he's still a badass. Like, he was such a badass in that movie as well. So, and I love that guy. So, yeah, it was great to see him in that movie as well.
In love.
Yeah, and then my number 1 movie, I don't think this is any surprise to anyone, but Black Panther Wakanda Forever. I thought it was just a strong character, just an example of like character growth and also how people process grief and how people process collective grief, and how do you honor someone's legacy who meant so much to people and still try to move on and find ways to move on and be your own person. And and it was to me it was the best Marvel movie that came out this year. There was a lot that I wanted from Marvel this year that I didn't feel like was quite there. It didn't quite hit the nail on the head, but I felt like this one really was powerful. It was strong, and it was, I saw it multiple times in theater, and I didn't regret it every time. It got better and better and better to me. So, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever was my number one movie. But my honorable mention for Jenna Ortega fans out there is The Fallout. If you have not watched it, this movie blew me away. It is on Apple TV. It's intense. It's pretty tough to watch at some parts, but it's so good, and it just makes the idea of, we see it all the time on the news, and it gets brushed under the rug or kind of skipped over, or it just become a part of the zeitgeist in our daily lives, but maybe it shouldn't. And I feel like The Fallout with seeing these kids experiencing a school shooting was really, really powerful for me. So those were my top movies of the year.
Yeah, Maddie Ziegler.
Me too.
Yeah. Shut up.
So Scott, you're 1, 2, and 3. No.
Same.
You want me to go next?
Yeah, might as well.
So let's start with, what do you say, Tom? Batman? And then, no. So jokes aside, those were really good picks. And I don't think I can disagree with them being awesome movies. But to give like some other movies to me that were like just as like great or like up there for me, like I don't think they can maybe beat some of those, but I'm gonna try and change it up. Let's say the third one, number 3 I had is Jackass Forever. I thought that was
That's a great choice.
it's hilarious. It's one of those movies shut your goddamn mouth. It's your turn, okay?
I was not expecting Jackass to be on the
Like,
board.
ooh, okay.
I thought you were joking. I thought you were really...
No, please give
serious.
us
I'm
a
trying to
serious.
change
Okay,
it up.
we're
I'm
serious.
trying to change it up.
Sorry.
Obviously,
Sorry,
those
yes.
movies are awesome. I can't just say the Batman
Because otherwise you really would just
and
be
Wakanda
copying
Forever.
me.
Like I know I made this joke of like we had the same list, but like we kind of did. So, but we grew up watching Jackass, and like it was cool to watch it at home, like on the stream, and like I don't know, just the whole experience and everything was like it was fun. Like it was cool to see those guys again, as old as they are now, like still doing crazy fucking shit. It was still just as entertaining. I thought maybe they would have like maybe lost their touch or whatnot, but it was cool to see them still being hilarious, bringing in a new group of people, maybe like passing of the torch sort of thing. It was cool. I liked it. Number 2, I'd say was maybe Maverick. Maverick was actually better than I thought it was going to be.
Ooh.
When I first heard it announced, I was like, okay, cash grab, easy money. Like, no brainer. Like, they're going to make tons of money on this. And it doesn't even need to be good. Like, that's one of those things. But because it's Tom Cruise and he's like a crazy person, he's going to make sure it's like not only going to make money, but it's going to like earn that money. And like the stuff he did and the stuff he made his like crew and like fellow actors go through to bring out the best performances they could for the movie was like really impressive. And all the shots, it really made you feel like you were there in the cockpit with them and everything. And like even though the bad guy was kind of vague, it still didn't like take you out of the movie. Like the anxiety and the threat level for all the characters you want to live were still there, and it was really surprising to me, and I really enjoyed it. Number 1 is it's a tie. It's between Nope. Let's just go with Nope. Nope was good. It was like a cool take on like a new Jordan Peele, right? He makes all these awesome movies nowadays. Like I don't think he's had any misses really for me. It was a cool take on like an alien movie. Like it was enough of it to be like what you think of when you think of aliens, like a flying saucer, like all these things. Like it's like in the farmlands, is things being abducted by like a beam of light, kind of, or like that sort of thing. But if you see in the movie, it's like a cool take on it, where I guess spoilers, where the the ship itself is the alien. and like it is like sucking things up in it and whatnot, and like so it kind of takes you for a turn. Like you're trying to predict like how long they've been here, blah blah blah. Like, and you don't expect like the alien to be the ship, like this giant thing flying around and stuff. So I thought that was really cool, and it's done in a way where it's creepy, but like not too scary.
Yeah,
like,
that part
you know?
where everybody was getting sucked up in the ship, where you see it for the first time after they go to the like dude ranch thing, was terrifying. It was like, holy shit.
And then hearing
they didn't do it too often, you know, like it was enough to just kind of set it, and then you know what to be afraid of, and then it goes back to like the suspense. That was really cool.
Yeah, and then hearing the screams and everything like that made it so eerie.
Yeah,
and then of course, and then like the blood raining down on the house, like when it's like regurgitating things, like there was enough in there that was so creepy. And then the actors were amazing in it. The way it was shot was great. Like again, Jordan Peele hasn't missed with that, or he hasn't missed with that. And then my honorable mention is Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. This movie was hilarious. Nicolas Cage, and it's like super meta. It's so fun. I recommend it. I won't even like spoil it other than the trailers. Like he gets hired to be himself by what's the dude's name? I always forget his name.
Pedro Pascal.
Pedro Pascal, who's also super awesome in this movie. Good. And like their chemistry in this movie is like it's like a buddy comedy you never thought you were gonna get.
Yes.
Like it's like they've just become best friends, and you're like their backgrounds are so different, but you're like, I love them together, even though like one is like a kind of a bad dude. Like it's just it's so great. It's so funny. Like it's so meta and so funny. Like I definitely recommend that to anyone if you get a chance. And like, you know, Nicolas Cage, man, I love to see him doing good again. He makes some weird movies sometimes, but this one was a win for sure. So I'd have to say those are my movies.
Right on.
Yes.
Nice. Yeah, Drake, Jazz.
Jazz, you want to jump in there?
Yeah, I'll add. So I haven't seen all of the movies that you guys have listed. I will say that Batman was really, really awesome. I did like when they the way that they utilized like just him walking through and you just hear his boots, you know? That was just like, it was so effective when they were just, you knew that it was like coming, you know? It was just such a great way to build up that suspense. And it did have like that true like detective sort of feel to it, which is nice for Batman. So I'm just gonna kind of like build on this. I'm just gonna name different movies. One is Bob's Burgers. I'm a huge fan of Bob's Burgers, and I was waiting for that movie forever, and it did not disappoint because it stuck true to who they are. And then I've continued watching the show afterwards, and they picked it up really well. So it was nice to see that they were able to still like honor that show, because I was really worried. You know, a lot of these cartoons, when they go to a movie, you're kind of concerned that it's going to lose its magic. But I think that it looked really great. The music was great, but like overall, it still felt like, I don't know, just like a really long episode, which is what you love about that show. So, you know, you're like, I could see this like on TV as well. So that was really nice. I guess continuing on the animation part of it would be, I actually really did like the Pinocchio movie. I thought it was really like
the one with Tom Hanks.
Yeah, the one with Tom Hanks.
Nice.
Just because it did mimic the cartoon really well. And I watched it with my nephew, our sister's little boy, and he loved it. You know, like he's kind of you know, he would get a little like restless and stuff, but when the cuckoo clocks were going, and you know, all of like those little scenes, or like when the fairy comes and stuff, it was just so beautifully like done. It's not necessarily one of my favorite stories, but I do think that they did a pretty good job, especially because it just went straight to like Disney Plus. I thought that was kind of nice. Maverick was one of my favorites. My husband's a pilot, so he just kept like whispering to me like all the stuff about the planes. He's like, did you know that that's really how it is, and blah, blah, blah. Like it was kind of cool to see him like geek out during the movie, but it was like, it was just so nostalgic. You know, when you watch like the first one and then you watch this one, I mean, instead of like volleyball, isn't it like football on the beach or something? Like they kind of like had the scenes that you were hoping that they would have too, without it being too predictable. But I mean, overall, it was essentially like a modern 80s movie. So,
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really liked those. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I think, like you said, Thomas, there wasn't too many movies that really like stood out to me. I haven't watched Wakanda yet. I'm going to be watching that soon, so I look forward to watching that.
Right on. Oh, I love it. You had some great choices in there, and yeah, it's hard to disagree. Hard to disagree. A lot of those movies were fantastic.
Yeah, modern '80s should be a movie genre for sure.
Right?
It kind of has
Yeah,
been. I feel
definitely.
like
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like it's coming back. Like
Yeah.
modern '80s is like Cobra Kai in a nutshell.
Like Stranger Things.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I guess my number 3 is a movie called The House. And the reason why I liked it so much is because it was what is that movie called? It's
Is
like
that the one with the underwater?
no. It's
Oh.
a stop motion animation.
Oh.
And it was kind of an anthology where the house in itself was kind of the main character, and then there were 3 separate stories that were told in a very creepy way about the house in itself. And it stop motion, it used like kind of more of like a furry feltish, so you could see all the little like squigglies coming off of it. And stop motion is one of my favorite, I guess, mediums. And the fact that it was able to tell 3 separate stories that kind of had morals in itself. I believe it was a UK situation because the majority of the voices were UK, so I just assume that's the case, but I don't know. That could be an assumption. But any Hoosers.
The United Kingdoms. Yep.
Yep.
You're right.
So that would be my number 3. My number 2, and it's going to get kind of nostalgic here. My number 2 is Prey.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one too,
Yeah.
man.
I forgot about that one. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that
I forgot
movie.
too.
That was such a
Right?
good movie.
Yes, Hulu, Predator. It gives you some nostalgia with kind of a new twist, even though I mean it's pre what we would know as to be like Arnold's Predator, and then all the other Predators that follow that took place, like this, that way, and the other. The storytelling, the cinematics, it did a lot with kind of very little. And it from the story too of like a Native American situation where hunter gatherers, and Predator gets dropped into this place where he's trying to hunt, and then he meets his match to an extent, and we kind of get to see the journey of an individual kind of grow into that role, and it was very beautiful. And I think my number 1 in terms of what I wanted to see and not necessarily what was good would be Jurassic World Dominion.
Nice. Okay.
It was entertaining.
It was entertaining, and the reason why for me it was number 1 is because Jurassic Park, I would probably say, is one of my favorite movies growing up. Is definitely like the Robin Williams for me of the movie at the time, where it just had such a great impact. Like everybody loves dinosaurs, everybody Dino DNA, like Clever Girl. Like there's just so much situations where you're just like, that's the case, and they brought that nostalgia back like tenfold, right? Original cast, the same kind of like weird lines, right? Then you get the whole Jurassic World situation where you got Chris Pratt and Diamond Dallas Page, Bryce Dallas Howard, and
That's a good edit.
and,
That's hilarious. I was like, what? And then I'm like, oh, that's funny.
and you get to kind of see those characters blend, and it was a very great like closing of that whole chapter of Jurassic Park as a whole, right? It gave you everything you wanted. I mean, granted, except for the story and like some of the other things, but I think for fanfare it was the best. So that would be my numero uno in that sense.
Nice. Right on, man. Yeah, I love the Prey in there.
Yeah.
Pray.
Right on.
Yeah, that was so good.
Very nice. Well, yeah, a lot of great choices. Interesting how different they were, except for Scott's list. And yeah, so just kidding. But, what's next? So are we now on to shows, right?
Shows.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect. All right. So let's see. 4 shows this year. Man, it was hard for me to narrow it down to 3. But for number 3, I picked The Sandman from Netflix. Man, it was such a great adaptation from the books. And we read all the books leading up to like through Comic Book Club, we read a bunch of the books that influenced the movies or shows this year. And knowing that Neil Gaiman was a part of it, and that you could see literal scenes from the book just translated on screen in just such a like epic and just, I don't know, it just was so true to the source material, was amazing to me. I loved it so much. The actor that played Morpheus was spot on, and they just got a lot of the tones just right in that show. So yeah, for me it was The Sandman at number 3. Number 2, a little show that Ben Stiller directed on Apple TV. And if you weren't in Apple TV just for Ted Lasso, I think this is a show you need to go back in and watch. But it was Severance. And Severance was some of the best science fiction, and such a simple yet interesting premise that they were able to expand because of great storytelling and fantastic acting. And it just had this tone that just escalated throughout the show. Every episode got crazier. The stories got deeper. You wanted to know more about the characters, and it just built upon itself. And it starts off as a slow burn. But I guess common theme for a lot of the shows that I picked this year were kind of slow burns that ended up having these massive, just huge ramifications at the end in the last episode. So Severance was so damn good. The cast was fantastic. So if you haven't watched it, hang in there, get through to the end of episode 1. If that doesn't hook you, try episode 2. If you're not hooked by episode 2, it may not be for you, but I loved it so damn much. I thought it was fantastic. And then the last one is, we had talked about it, and this was probably one of the most anticipated shows for me. When this show was announced, I was like, I don't give a shit. This could, I don't know. I don't care. I'll tune in because it's on Disney Plus and it's interesting. I mean, like, it's just going to be more Star Wars. So I'm stoked about that. And then as every episode went on and on, it just kept getting better. It kept getting more intense. It kept getting more interesting. Just the meta commentary on the socio-political environment that we're living in, and just the stories and the themes that it was preaching throughout the show was really incredible. And so for me, my top show of the year was Andor.
Ooh.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it so damn much. Yeah, and then I would say my honorable mention for a show was one that we talked about on here, but about a little eatery in Chicago, and the show is called The Bear.
The Bear.
that was good.
Yeah, which was so damn good and so just amazingly acted. And yeah, another one where it was just like this exploration of character and identity and humanity and all those things. So I think all these shows kind of had little parts of that, what it means to be a human, what it means to be yourself, what it means to discover yourself and your passion. And I just felt like they all delivered on it, and I was not expecting to like any of these shows as much as I did. I feel like maybe The Sandman, but it delivered. And yeah.
Man, so much content this year, man. It was great.
I know.
That's really good. Shall I go next?
Yeah. Do you want to pee first, or?
Yeah, definitely. I did. I went actually.
Oh, okay.
You
cool,
remember
cool.
what he said though? You remember the order?
Oh yeah, we have the
Yeah.
same list.
Yeah.
Again, of course, those are amazing shows. Okay, so I'm gonna try and name some other ones that are also amazing, and that are not those shows. Okay, so let's start with. I was gonna say The Bear too. I was hoping you wouldn't say that, but
Well,
The
you
Bear's
could say,
awesome.
I mean, that was in my honorable mention, so it didn't like break the top 3, even though it could have, like I feel like 3 and the honorable mention could have been interchangeable, or like it could have even got a 2 in some ways.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
yeah.
I'm gonna try and keep it different. So, 3. Let's go with. I think I'm gonna go with an anime, Chainsaw Man.
Damn.
Chainsaw Man has
Nice.
been pretty bomb. Like I that's another one too. Like I remember Cobes was like, "Hey, this show's coming out." I read the manga and it's pretty good. I think you guys will like it. And I was like, "Okay, cool." Like I didn't really think much of it because the title is just Chainsaw Man. It sounds kind of weird, and it's a picture of a dude with chainsaws. And I didn't expect such like a cool story to come out of what the poster was. So, and we just talked about it last episode, and we've been talking about it for weeks now. And if you're not watching it, jump on it. It's really good. I'd say maybe number 2 is Peacemaker.
Yup.
Peacemaker was hilarious and fun. It was like gruesome and hilarious. James Gunn, I think he nailed it with that show, and I'm excited to see what he does with DC properties going forward. And then maybe my number one, Legend of Vox Machina. I think that show was so good, and I can't wait for season 2. It's based off these D&D characters, which is based off a group of people who are actors who play D&D, and I guess it was so well followed they turned it into a cartoon, and now it's just like, you can rewatch it if you listen to their podcasts. Rewatch it in animation form. The animation is beautiful. The characters are great. It's full of comedy, full of action. It's like the Saturday morning cartoons you get to watch as an adult now because it's like directed towards adults, so it's great. Honorable mention would be basically any of the ones Thomas mentioned. Severance was great, amazing. Andor, amazing. The Bear, amazing. Check those shows out if you haven't. Yep.
Yes. Nice. Great list, man. Yeah.
Thanks.
I know Vox Machina. I was hoping somebody would bring that up in Peacemaker because those shows are like
those were good.
They were super good,
so
actually. Good. Yeah.
Early year too.
Definitely. Drake.
Jazz, what say you?
All right. So I'll try to name ones that haven't been named because those are all really great shows. Trying to think of other ones that I thoroughly enjoyed. One would be, I don't know if I can do like 3, 2, 1 and like honorable mention.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
fine.
I don't know, like there's just so many that I'm like,
So
this is
many.
just so good.
Kind of on par.
So I would say Strange New Worlds I really liked
Oh,
because
nice.
I love watching like the classic Star Trek show, and I felt like that was another one that kind of was like nostalgic. If you're looking for something that has the feel of like the old Star Trek shows but is more modern, that's a good show. I try to watch like Star Trek Discovery. It's not my favorite, but I did really like Strange New Worlds. So that was one that I really liked. I just binge watched Wednesday because I love everything Tim Burton.
Yup.
I was actually, I'll admit, I was trying to avoid it for a little bit because everyone's like, you gotta watch it, you gotta watch it. I was like, oh, okay. But
Yeah.
I did like it. I thought that it had a really cool vibe to it. It does have that sort of teenage, drama feel, like how I think is it like Sabrina Teenage Witch on Netflix as well. It has that kind of vibe to it, but it is more of like a murder mystery. So I thought that was kind of cool in the show. I actually like pulled up stuff because I was like trying to think. Obviously, Bob's Burgers is just like an ongoing love. I was thinking there's a couple of shows that I wasn't too sure about how I felt about the ending, but I can say that I loved watching the show. And then when it got to the ending, I was like, I don't know. So one would be Moon Knight.
Okay.
I really liked Moon Knight.
Yeah.
And then I'm not sure how I feel about like the ending.
I can agree with you there.
Yeah, so I was like, dang, because it was really entertaining, I was
Yeah.
like, I was actually really into it. So that was one. And then another one that I've actually been watching, I think this year was like the 4th season, but it's called For All Mankind.
Oh, nice. On Apple TV.
Yeah,
it's a
that
good
one's
one.
really good.
Yeah.
So that one kind of takes place like it goes through, like the decades, right? And kind of follows the space race, right? And it gives you like a hypothetical if another country had reached the moon first.
Right.
And then like what would happen after that. So this last season was another one that like wasn't necessarily my favorite, but because I liked the show so much, I was so invested in it already that I did watch it, and it was still like, satisfying enough. But I would say like when it first started, it was really, really strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are some of my shows from this year.
Great list.
Nice.
Yeah, I love all those shows as well. So that's I hear you too. There's been a few shows this year that have been amazing, and at the ending you're like, come on, it just didn't stick the landing. But I think the ones you named were great all the way through. Yeah, Drake, what about you?
So, I would say one of the things, obviously I liked all the shows. We've definitely talked about them ad nauseum consistently on our podcast over the year. One of the things I really did enjoy, in no particular order, Rings of Power, just because we I'm a Lord of the Rings fan. I really did enjoy kind of watching them kind of elaborate a little bit more on the lore. Granted, it wasn't like, oh my god, this is like the best thing in the world. But one of my picks was Jurassic World Dominion. So I just want to see the things I want to see. Okay.
So we question you.
Yeah.
No, I was kidding. No, it is a really good show. I mean,
anything.
it had some pretty cool moments.
It was pretty, in my opinion, it definitely could have done more. But in that being said, I thought, wow, what a great job with the budget that they did. That I'm looking forward to seeing more of that moving forward. Other things, I know this is going to be Kobe's favorite one, Halo. I know we all didn't like it.
Wow. Really? Wow.
I didn't expect that.
I did not expect that to make
What
any
are we
list
doing?
here.
I feel like we started on top and then we're just like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of the things is because we finally got one that they actually poured money into, right? Like we've got a lot of like off, YouTube situations, or like a small production company will kind of jump in and do it. But we actually got one that like Paramount picked up and was like, hey, let's do this. Okay. And, for lack of a better situation, like obviously it wasn't the best, but I think moving forward, it's a beautiful platform to see, again, some of our favorite video games, some of our favorite comic books becoming, what is that called? Shows that we can kind of like sit down and watch. Granted, we're going to have some bummers like the one that I just said, Halo, but for me, the precedent.
That's why it's my number 2.
Yep. The precedent.
Well, no
Yeah,
particular
shit.
order.
Yeah, no particular order. The precedent that it sets, I think, for me is the most important, in my opinion. But
Yeah, I think it creates like a really good foundation. Like, yeah, there were some parts where it was kind of weird and it kind of felt like in some ways it got off track, but I think the foundation that show sets is really strong. There was like, the first episode and the last episode I thought were fantastic. It was just kind of what happened in between that it kind of seemed to meander a little bit and you didn't really understand the direction it was going in. But I think towards the end of the show, you're like, oh, this is pretty cool. So yeah, I think if we get more of that and they kind of take some of the learnings, it has the potential to be a really strong show eventually. And I love the actor. The actor that played Master Chief was perfect. I really like that guy. I just saw too much of his face for my personal thing.
I'm not trying to see his fucking face. I want to see you fight.
It's handsome.
Stuff.
It's beautiful.
Stuff.
But Master Chief, I almost just want to see less face.
Just the helmet, right?
Yeah.
Just the helmet. I just want to see the helmet. And then lastly, but not leastly, it was a combination of a bunch of different season additions. So we're talking about what is that called? Stranger Things season 4. We're talking about the Umbrella Academy season 3. We're talking about Yellowstone's newest season that it just recently bounced into. The content is so great that they're just continuously doing it. And you got the second season of Bridgerton. I really dislike Bridgerton, but you got more Bridgerton coming through just because.
Is this your do not like list from 2022 now?
Do not like list? Well,
I think we're airing our grievances right now. We're like, hey, do better.
That's a whole other show. We save that for Twitter.
That's your resolution.
We'll do it on our beasts belittling, and then we got pretty interesting classics like Inventing Anna. We got pretty interesting things like the Cabinet of Curiosities. So we've definitely got a lot of things, I think, coming into 2022, moving into 2023. There's no complaints. There's something for everybody, right? And I think that can't be said enough, that there's just content and we can enjoy it. And that is my list in conclusion.
Perfect.
That's good, man. I like that.
Yeah.
Because there are some shows that I forgot. You know what? I'm now going back to New Year's resolution. I think what my resolution is going to be is making a little like note thing in my phone and like making a point if I see a movie or a show that's really good to write it down, because it's so easy to forget come the end of the year. And like even if you're looking at a list of like things that came out, like it's easy to just miss these. So
Put that in your bullet journal.
yeah.
Yeah.
Before,
Right before you
after
pee.
I go pee.
Yeah.
Definitely. Man, yeah, great list. I love it. I feel like we checked a lot of the boxes and we went kind of around the board and you guys named a bunch that I didn't, which was so cool. So yeah, it's been a great year in TV and shows. All right, so next we are on to games. Yeah, there's been a lot of amazing games. Funny enough, I don't really think not that I know of, any of us played the games of the year that won at the Game Awards, but
Yeah.
that's okay because there was other games that were out there that we still played and we really enjoyed. And yeah, let's kick off this list. So let me pull up my list right here. So my number 3, it got a lot of hate online, but I actually have a ton of fun playing it, and I did have a ton of fun playing with you guys. And it just seems like it's really tough time for games to come out and not get bad reviews right off the bat. But again, with that being said, it told a really cool story and it brought some new characters in the fold that we've always liked but have never been the spotlight. And so it takes place in the DC universe, and that game is called Gotham Knights. So yeah, Gotham Knights was a ton of fun. And they're still adding things. I hope they add more DLC in, but we just got a 30-floor raid in there. There's more reasons to keep playing and better gear that's coming in, a part of it. It's just a fun game you can play with your friends. So I really dig that side of it. Yeah. So Gotham Knights was an awesome one. My number 2, and it's maybe recency bias, but I'm having a shit ton of fun playing this game as well. And I think Kobe said it even before we started the show, that the quality of life improvements for this game are amazing. It's one of the best kind of redos for a Pokemon game that we've gotten a long time. And we got Arceus, I think, at the beginning of the year, and it just was less than, it didn't quite live up to what my expectations were. And there was a lot of cool aspects about it, that it was semi-open world and that the Pokemon were out and about. But I feel like Pokemon Violet and Scarlet really took a lot of the things that were great about Arceus and then did it better with things that we missed, which were like gyms and battling and now cooperative play. So Pokemon Violet and Scarlet has been a ton of fun for me. I'm a little bit addicted to that game right now, and we got to get some raids going. But really enjoying that. And then my last game, which came out a long time ago, but it felt like it got a resurgence this year because of the anime on Netflix, and that it's just been. The story got deeper. They have been fixing it all the way through, and more stories have come out. It literally went from a bottom of the list game to having 1 million players per day playing it, and it shot to the top of the charts again, and for good reason. And that game is Cyberpunk 2077. So I really dug it for sure. I didn't expect to like it as much as I did, especially after all the hate it was getting at the beginning of when it came out, and now it is just an awesome game. So don't always trust the reviews, guys. They could be completely off unless you're trusting this show, because we're usually right. But yeah, those are my list for.
They fixed a lot of things though with that game, right? Wasn't it when it was first released? There was a lot of.
It's glitchy as fuck.
Yeah, a lot of glitches.
Yeah, but Drake's been a proponent for that game since it came out. You were like, that hasn't been a problem for me. That hasn't really bothered me. I just do this instead of doing that, and it seems like you've powered through and reaping the benefits, because now you're on your second or third playthrough.
Yeah, I will. So to be honest, I played through the game one time, but I've restarted it 18 times trying to make a perfect character. So to say that, the fastest of the game that you can, once you go through it, you can get through it. But once you understand what you want to do and what the game is, and you're familiar with the system as a whole, you can have fun doing multiple playthroughs doing the same thing, just because there's so much replayability. And the fact that they've fixed all these things, the fact that there's going to be new DLC coming out, it's definitely something to pick up. Because if you're not doing, I would put this on a similar level to a Skyrim.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's awesome. Yeah. You nice. The anime, you talking about it and then watching Edge Runners was holy shit, I got to play it. And both were fantastic. So, I think it's a great game. And I think everybody should pick it up if you have a new gen console.
Do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Do it.
Yeah. Scott?
Let's see. So my games, because there wasn't a lot of new games that we picked up, really. So I have to agree with you on Gotham Knights. Really fun. I like a good multiplayer game. I know I've been hearing any negative thing that you've all read, I've heard that, but it's fun. The fact that you can the drop in, drop out scenario they got going is really nice. Like, we were able to, because there's 3 of us, and like the first part of the co-op before the 4-player one they released was just like a 2-player co-op. But we were really easy. It was really easy for us to like just drop in, like, hey, I got this mission. Drake or Scott, you want to jump in? Boom, we're in for like a second. Finish that. Oh, okay, can you help me with this?
Yeah.
Boom, someone drops out, jumps the other person's game, like flawlessly. So I thought they really nailed that. Team combos are great. It is cool how they made each character like unique and different. Yeah, it's awesome. I like a good beat 'em up, and they've done a good job with this, so I like it. And the second one, definitely Pokemon. Like, this is exactly what I thought Arceus was going to be when I bought the dang game. I know a lot of people did enjoy it, but I was really disappointed with Arceus, especially like right after they released it. They're like, hey, and then we got this game coming out, and I'm like, you son of a bitch. Like, that was the game I thought I bought. So I got it, this new game, Scarlet, and it's exactly what I wanted. They fixed a lot of things, and they even improved things that we kind of just put up with in the original games. You're like, it's just understood that you go to the Pokemon Center to go in your box to get your Pokemon and change out the team. Well, now they're like, you just do it on the go. Like, there's so many cool things you can do now that just save time. You're like, this is exactly how I'd want to play Pokemon. It's great.
Yep.
Teach your Pokemon old moves and everything. Like, it's great. Change your name of your Pokemon whenever you want. Yeah, you should be able to do that, because in real life, you can just start calling your dog another name. Like, why not in Pokemon? So that definitely was great. And then I've been replaying. Like, there's just been a couple games that like I've just been playing. Like, sometimes when we're podding in the background. So I guess honorable mentions. They're not new to this year, but like I'm still playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2. Like, it's still fun to just throw on. Even if you put on like the free skate mode, I'm just like skating around the warehouse or whatever. That and like Ghost of Tsushima is still fun.
Yeah.
Like,
Nice.
just going back and like experiencing that world. That's a really good one. If you haven't played that game yet, I
Figure out your
recommend
life.
going back and picking that up. Yeah, it's so fun. But yeah, I think those are the games for me.
Nice. Yeah, Jazz, do you have any games of the year that you picked up recently?
Yeah, so for me, I don't play as much video games as I used to. I did try out the Mario Strikers, because I used to
Ooh.
play that when was that one on the GameCube?
Yeah, the GameCube, and then we got it for the Wii as well. But I think originally
Yes,
we
but the
put a lot
GameCube
of
one
hours
was
in
like
on.
really good.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. So that one feels more like the GameCube one. So it was
okay.
really cool to like play that again. I just got the demo one to see if I would like it, just because I didn't care for the Wii one as much. So now I'm like, oh, I think I'm gonna have to buy it. So there's that. And then I'm like a huge Animal Crossing like player. I really like it. Obviously, it started during the pandemic when we were all locked inside and didn't know what to do. So for Christmas, I had originally asked, my family, like, oh, for Dreamlight Valley. And then I ended up buying it for myself anyway. So it went off my list. But it's like Animal Crossing. It's kind of like Sims, but it's a Disney feel. So you can personalize your character. You live in the valley, and you can personalize your house. You can do all like the building stuff. You can, fish. You can do all the things that you would normally do like in Animal Crossing, but then they'll do more like there's more missions to it. Like there's actually like a story to it where you're trying to save like the kingdom. There's like a darkness that has passed through, and because of it, all of the characters kind of forgot either like who they are or like where they belong. So it's like your job to go back and like do all these things to help them, almost like reestablish themselves as to like their characters, which I thought was kind of cute because I was wondering how Disney was going to do it. But overall, I think it's really good. I've only like unlocked, like one stage further, like actually unlock the castle. So I was able to go to one of the worlds. You have to choose one of 3 in the beginning, and then you just continue to like work through that.
Cool.
But I would say that one of the things that I found, well, not necessarily challenging, there's a lot of talking in it.
Mhm.
And so if you're just like, pressing A and going through, they try to instruct you how to do certain things, and then they won't teach you how to do it again. So I'm like, damn it, now I have to Google it. So like even something like fishing, it was just like just fish, and I was like, yeah, but like how? Like it's different than Animal Crossing. So I'm like trying to do it like Animal Crossing, like the buttons are almost opposite from Animal Crossing, so I still find myself like doing the things I would do there because you're doing the same activities,
Yeah.
but the buttons are different. Yeah, and then it's like just fish. I'm like, yeah, I
okay.
want to, but
Yeah.
geez.
To play that game, you gotta read. Okay. We gotta
Yeah.
read the instructions.
So like,
Don't
yeah,
skip
and it's like
ahead.
you know,
Oh,
it's definitely like
reading.
family oriented, right? So it's like it's meant to be more cute. So it'll give you options for answers, but like all the answers are pretty similar, so it doesn't really matter like what you say. Which is why I was just pressing A, like just
Yeah.
button smashing there, and then I forgot how to fish. But besides that, I do want to get into more of the games. I think I mentioned, I think it was earlier that we've been asking. I think we're gonna ask for the Pokemon game. Like we still didn't
Yeah.
get that one, so we definitely want to go and get that thing.
Yeah.
Just because I do want to get into playing games more. It's really fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's great. I mean, you got some games that we definitely didn't play, and they actually sound pretty cool. So, yeah, appreciate that. That was great. All
Thanks.
right, Drake, what's up? Where are you at? Are you gonna say something interesting? I don't know where
Yeah,
I'm gonna
so
go.
all like
Just
the
the
games
worst
that I hated
games.
the most this year.
There's a Jurassic Park game.
I do have the Jurassic Park game. The Evolution 2, but I think
Yeah.
that came out in 2021. But okay, so the games that I play the most, right? And I think number 3, I guess, in no particular order, I would say Dying Light 2 that came out. It's a great. I mean, who doesn't love a great zombie game? I know we've been through a lot of zombie games, whether it was like Zombie Army or whether or not it was World War Z. But this one, very different, right? The zombies, where we're traversing, we're doing parkour, we're having to kind of makeshift craft things and like find gear, and it was pretty fun to play online overall. And I enjoyed kind of that vibe. I think zombie games are never getting old for me. Secondly, I would probably say F123. F1, the Formula One game, right? And you think, oh, that must suck to use a controller, but no, I chose to invest in a in a racing sim, so I have a chair and I have
Oh my gosh, my husband does
steering
too.
wheel.
Oh,
Yep, here we go.
Do you? Nice, dude.
Yep,
I didn't know that. That's funny.
yep. So that's
and cool.
The
That's
pedals for are like literally under this desk right now.
yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's pretty legit.
That's what's up. And it definitely gives a new dynamic to not only the understanding of F1 as a whole, but being like involved, right? Because we think of watching F1 as like, oh, it's a race. And a lot of people would say like, why would I watch a race or just going around in a circle, which is true. But when you get the depth from things like Drive to Survive, and you watch it on F1 TV, and you kind of see that there's a lot more storyline, there's a lot more at stake, and they're at the epitome. There's only 20 drivers, so to be able to experience that in a video game is pretty cool. And lastly but not leastly, I would say FIFA 23. This is the last time FIFA is going to be an EA game. So that being said, FIFA's or EA games in general are kind of the same across the board, but in my recency of like kind of falling in love with soccer all over again, I guess because I played when I was little, but I didn't really care about it because I wanted to do lacrosse, and then I did lacrosse, and I don't really do lacrosse anymore. So in that situation,
Sum it up.
Yep, to sum it up.
And that's
So
Drake's
it's-
life.
And this is
Yeah.
life. It's fun. So the reason why I think it has become fun is because not only do you get to learn the game while you play the game, is that you understand why things work. So a lot of people would be like, well, soccer's hard to understand, or soccer's low scoring, or blah de bloop bloop. But a lot of it is just because of availability. So when you're playing the FIFA game, you're starting to see, this makes sense why it's offsides. This makes sense that a player in real life would want this type of skill to be able to do this, because it sort of translates, etc. So it's very interesting to kind of use video games as a medium to help you understand something that you don't understand. And I think that's a very underrated thing about
that's-
video games.
Totally, that's a great point. No, I love that sentiment because I think that is very understated about games as well.
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
But that's my trace.
Right on, man.
Nice.
Yeah, damn, another great round of games. We got super lucky with games here. We didn't even mention the game of the year games, but still we found so many other great games that we had a blast with this year. So yeah, man, I can't even wait for 2023 because there's just ridiculous things that look amazing as well. We're gonna have so
Hogwarts.
much fun. Yep,
Harry Potter.
Hogwarts Legacy. Yep,
Oh, yeah.
Suicide Squad killed the Justice League the
Suicide
last
Squad,
time.
yes.
Maybe Kevin Conroy, voice of the Batman. That's gonna be insane. So yeah, next year is gonna be insane as well. But yeah, really really good stuff. The last round of things that we covered were our books of the year. And some of them, by no means, were these new, except for one on my list. Everything else was things that we read during Comic Book Club as we were getting prepared for some of the movies and shows that were coming out. And I probably should have read this a long time ago, but I didn't, and it was in preparation for the Batman. And it was Batman Zero Year, which was my number 3. It was such a good book. It was just really crazy, kind of seeing Batman kind of restart or start his journey in Gotham and what does it take to become Batman? What did he have to go through? And just seeing some of the stuff he did just to become Batman, even before after the training and everything was brutal. And just the determination and everything was really cool. The art style in the book was fantastic too. I loved it. But I really thought that was a really good book, an interesting premise to make the Riddler really scary, which then they took in the Batman and did a really good job because it made this Riddler in the movie really scary. So I thought that was a perfect adaptation and a great book to kind of base the movie off of. My number 2 was Marvel Axe Judgment. It's interesting because I had to catch up a little bit because it's been a while since I've read an X-Men comic book. But tying in, the Avengers, which we're very familiar with now with the MCU, and then the X-Men, who I grew up with and I've always loved, and then the Eternals that we've seen in the MCU recently, and trying to catch up on their storylines, but how they would be at odds with each other because of their powers and stuff was, I don't want to spoil it for anybody in case you haven't read it, but it's really freaking good, and there's just some real badass moments in this series. The art style is beautiful as well, and it brings some new ideas into the whole Marvel universe that I'm very curious to see how they do it if they bring it to live action, because it's some crazy premises. So yeah, Axe Judgment Day was my comic book of the year, which as far as new books go. And then my final book, again, it's something that was based off of things we were watching, but I had always kind of dipped into it and kind of didn't because I kind of felt like it was scary, and I started listening to it around Halloween, I think, last year. And then when the show was announced, I was like, oh, okay, I got to really dive into it. And in the audiobook, Neil Gaiman narrates it, but also James McAvoy is the voice of Dream. So just the voice cast in the audiobook from Audible. I was kind of reading the book while listening to the Audible, and it was this whole, almost like a cinematic experience before the show came out. And then the show came out, it was just as good, but reimagined. It was, yeah. So I think I got the best of all the worlds, and that comic book it's just crazy because they do such a good job of tying the DC universe in there with these deep, intense themes that Neil Gaiman brings in. And just, again, his voice, then reading it with the comic book was just so good. It was one of my favorite things I did this year before even watching the show. So I highly recommend, if you can do it that way, do it. But if you haven't read The Sandman, definitely go pick it up because I think season 2 is on the way. And season 1 covers volumes 1 through 4, if I'm not mistaken. But it's creepy and it's good and it really makes you think. I like that.
Yeah, man, that's good. Mine's just kind of similar actually, because we did read.
I'm sure it is.
Almost the same.
Yeah.
The exact same.
Wow.
Yeah, I do have to mention that Scott Snyder Batman run was great. Batman Zero Year, I really did enjoy reading that with the Riddler. The Sandman, of course, was great, especially with the audiobook, companion. Neil Gaiman and the full cast, amazing. And yeah, Neil Gaiman just has like, not only is he a great writer, like his narration is just like, he has a great voice. So if you ever come across any Neil Gaiman books on like Audible and you want to like listen to a great story, like, and you see that he's narrating it, I'd say pick it up because it's really good. There's some other books I've listened to from him and he's done a great job. I guess on the same front of audiobooks, I guess that counts as like stuff we consume through, literature. I'd have to say the David Goggins. It's great. David Goggins never finished. He's just one of those dudes, used to be like a Navy SEAL and whatnot, and like he's just got like a crazy backstory, a real life backstory, and like he's just gone through a lot. It's like motivational and or like just crazy stories. And if it makes you feel like, man, if I just had like a fraction of what this guy has in him, like I could get so much done. So it's good. Like you feel for the dude, and you're also like, I hope I never have to go through anything he goes through. But you also want to like get some of that. So I recommend that. I also listened to. It's an older book. I'm re-listening to it now because I got to the second book and I kind of forgot where I was, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna start from the beginning. It's so good though. By Brandon Sanderson, The Way of Kings. Great book. It's really long. I listened to it on Audible, and it's like I think like 45 hours long. It's like it's for the money you're paying for, like, and the quality you're getting through Audible. It's amazing. Like it's a steal. The story's super in depth. If you love fantasy and like just giant worlds, being like kind of like Lord of the Rings, like there's just so much going on in like this one story. Like, it's amazing. I strongly recommend it. So I think those are my picks.
Nice. That's awesome, man.
Picks.
Very cool. Yeah, I gotta definitely check out some of that. The last Way of King sounds pretty badass. So yeah, that's on the list for next year. My New Year's resolution: read a book. So
Or listen
to it on Audible. Definitely.
Yeah.
Jazz, what about you? Books this year?
Yeah, I think I feel the same way. Like I kind of go in and out of, reading, because there's times where it's like I'm reading every single day, and then, I would like to like read before I go to bed, and then lately I haven't really been reading as much, but my go-tos have always been like the Harry Potter books. I just like reread them over and over. I really like the Rick Riordan books too. So I'm pretty excited about the show that will be coming out for Disney Plus, which is the Percy Jackson, Lightning Thief, right? Only because if you've watched the movies, they weren't exactly like the books.
Kind of junk.
Yeah. So I remember like watching it being like really upset by it because I am like a big fan. They're just really easy reads, but I also like, Greek and Roman mythology and stuff. So it was really fun reads. So I always go back to that. And then I would say like, again, these aren't like new books or anything, but these are just books that I like to go back to. I like rereading them. I still do improv comedy, so I do like reading like Amy Poehler's Yes Please. It's like empowering, or Tina Fey's Bossy Pants. So reading those kind of books have always been like a nice go-to to kind of pick me up again, or if I'm, needing some sort of motivation, it's kind of nice to reread those.
Right on.
Yeah.
Love that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can't remember. I think I started reading or listening to Bossy Pants, and I was like, this is so hilarious. Like, her journey to get to where she was is like crazy. And she's just like naturally such a funny person. So that's a great book for sure.
Yeah, it's a feel good, right? You think that they're really funny, and then they're just like telling you just like it is,
Yeah.
So it's nice to hear
Yeah.
it.
Absolutely.
Love those.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Drake, what about you?
So I would say that I only have two that I really, really, really would like to like highlight. And the reason being is because obviously we were reading the same things to an extent, but one of the books that we did reread or read to be able to watch the movie was Thor, Gore the God Butcher.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm an English major, but I don't really necessarily like reading just because I have to kind of like sit down and like be still. And that's kind of hard for me sometimes, but that graphic novel was so engaging, and Kobe and I can attest to this. When I started reading it, it was like, okay, so it's from the perspective of like young Thor. Okay, we're going through young Thor. He's got the good God, or the Gore, the God Butcher. Kind of get a little bit of backstory. Then we see like Avengers Thor, and he's kind of interacting with blah blah blah. Then we get like Odin Thor, and I'm like, okay, and they're all coming together. And the story of Gore was so enthralling because it's very much like a humanizing situation. It's just an individual who has had enough and has a little bit of taste of power and wants to create change, much like Thanos. And he does it in a way into which kind of destroys himself. And you can kind of root for him at the same time. You're kind of wanting to see him fail. And so to me, that was super great. But
Yeah, I sorry, I was just adding, like, I love that. You know, I'm so happy you brought that back up because that was such a good book. And seeing his younger self interact with his older self and everything, it's like, you'll learn, boy. You know, like, you have no idea what you're in for. And, you know, by the time you get there, like, you'll be a completely different person. And you can see his growth just by him interacting with different versions of himself. Yes. And the thing was, that book was so good that, I mean, I like what Taika did with it in some ways, but it kind of, for me, made the movie a lot more of a letdown because the book was just that good.
Yeah.
I can agree with that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Definitely.
There was So it was a graphic novel. It's called The Night Eaters. And the reason why it was something of interest is because it's by Marjorie Liu and Sana Takeda, who are both Asian. So a little bit more Asian representation. And essentially the graphic novel is about... It's kind of like a horror type of situation. They originally wrote the New York Times bestselling series Monstrous. And so essentially it's a family who kind of have like this horrific background as a whole, but they're dealing with it as a family, almost like the Addams Family, but not really, a little bit more gory. And they're kind of struggling to keep kind of it together, and they're kind of having to figure out all of these things that are going on within their family. I'm trying to say it, making it interesting without giving it away so that you'll read it.
Yeah, it looks cool.
They're trying to figure it out. Go on Amazon, look up The Night Eaters. She Eats the Night, and that the cover art in itself should just devour you as a whole. And the other thing that I wanted to read but I didn't get to read was a Neil Gaiman novel called Neverwhere, and I heard about it as I was researching a little bit more Neil Gaiman when we were dealing with the Sandman, but just the idea of world building to me is just really special. So Neil Gaiman does a really great job at that. So take a look at that if you get a chance.
Yeah, I actually have that on Audible too. I haven't got a chance to listen to it, but Christine did. She said she really liked it. She recommended it.
Yes.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, my honorable mention, if I had to have one, would be Adora in the Distance too. I started reading it. I think I'm on like issue 3 or whatever it is, but that was a good one too, from a friend of the show now, Mark Bernardin. So that was a good book. He's got a new book coming out next year as well. So yeah, we'll definitely be reviewing that once it comes out. But yeah, we got lucky. I think just the maybe not. I mean, I think that the movies they made and the shows they made were based off incredible source material. So like the comic books, graphic novels, all that stuff have been so good. Of course that, you know, why wouldn't they want to make these movies and shows from it? But yeah, you're right. I appreciate everything that you guys kind of brought back up, because I'm like, oh yeah, those were good books. I forgot about some of those. So yeah, we got lucky. That's it. I think we kind of did all of our top movie, shows, books, games. Yeah, I love how everybody had different answers. I love how it was unique, and I can see where you guys are coming from on all of your picks, and I love that. That's what it's all about, and I feel like that's what like fandom, nerddom, geekdom, whatever you want to call it, is about. And I'm so excited to see what we get next year in 2023, because it seems like it's going to be a big year for that stuff as well.
Heck yeah.
All day.
A lot of good stuff coming out.
Yeah. Well, right on. Well, that's it for me on final words. Drake, you want to give your final thoughts?
I would say 2022, I mean, we did come off of a huge kind of like, situation where we were all kind of stuck indoors and we kind of had to figure things out for ourselves. But going into 2023, I think just as if you're waking up and you're opening the curtain to see the sun, just open your eyes, take it in, and keep moving forward.
Right on. Scott?
Nice. 2023 is going to be exciting. I'm getting married in the beginning of the year. Hopefully going to Japan for the first time, like mid-year. So that's going to be great. 2 things I'm super looking forward to. And then on top of that, we got awesome movies coming out. I want to see Guardians 3 and Doom 2 and Quantumania and John Wick and all the great things. So,
Yeah.
John, next year is going to be a good year, I think. You know, and that's probably what they said in 2019.
Oh, thanks, Scott.
But I think this time's different.
Way to fuck us over for next year.
And again, if you don't have friends or family, you know, hopefully we're that for you. You know, hopefully we give you the friendship and the love you're looking for. And thanks for tuning in.
Right on. Jazz, thanks for joining us as always. As I said last time, it's been a pleasure having you. Any final thoughts for everybody at home?
Well, you know, I think Scott summed it up, right? Next year is going to suck and you don't have friends or family. No, actually, again, it was really nice to be able to end the year with like, I don't know, going back, right? Like going back to like old friendships and hanging out, and it just felt like old times too. I feel like there's a lot on my list to watch and read for next year. Those are things that are going to be coming out, but as well as things that came out this year, which was really cool. So I definitely want to add that to the list. But thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun, and it was great. It's great hanging out with you guys.
Yeah. Oh, and before we close it out, we have a picture here that'd be great for us to end on. It's the last one on Remember. It's after the What the F's. Should I click on slide 6 there?
Yeah, there it is.
Yes.
What are we looking at?
Remember that?
Snapshot of snapshots.
Back when we all did improv together.
Suckerpunch.
For the people who were able to see it. It's a picture of us.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. There's us in like Vans and deep V-necks and emo boy hair.
Yo, dude. This
It's
is
good.
2000s. Let's do
We'll have
it.
to put this up on the Instagram.
Yeah.
But you guys will know, you'll know what this is about when you listen to this episode. So I'm going to save it till this episode gets released. But yeah, if you've been with us so far, soak it all in and just enjoy it, because that is terrible.
I thought you'd like that. I was like, should I sprinkle
Oh,
it?
100%.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Yeah, this is great.
Sprinkle.
That's great. Well, yeah, thank you guys so much. Again, if you want to share some love with us, please share this with somebody else. Like and subscribe. All the reviews help us out. We want to hear from you guys. What should we do more of in 2023? What did you like in 2022? And what did you not like? So all of that is super useful information. We loved creating all these episodes for you guys. It's been so fun. And yeah, we will catch you in 2023. And as 23 all the way through. And thanks for sticking it with us. Later.
Shoot.
The Joystick Show.
If you like what you hear, please like, follow, and subscribe. Just how we like chatting with our friends, please share this with yours. Feel free to join the squad and follow us on Twitch, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube at JoyStickShow, Joystick Show. Or if you feel like submitting topics or asking questions to be discussed on further episodes, you can email us at joystick.show@gmail.com. Peace out and make it a great rest of your week.